As the White House uses what happened Saturday night to change the conversation from Iran and the economy, it is worth checking to see how receptive Americans will be to turning the page. And that will likely depend on how things are going for them personally. So how are they going? Mortgage payments are high, as is childcare. The cost of living in general is quite high. Expenses so big, younger Americans say the costs are making them rethink starting a new family, according to reporting from the New York Times. Older Americans with medical conditions say they are struggling with health care costs after the ACA subsidies expired this year. Lots of folks, in fact, struggling with it, especially those who are too young for Medicare. Oil keeps hitting new highs. Goldman Sachs says the price of a barrel could reach $120 as the Iran war drags on, putting further strain on fuel and fertilizer costs for farmers already strained by tariffs, which then, by the way, gets transferred to the American consumer, consumers across the world in general. So how does the American consumer feel? The answer is not great. Consumer sentiment just hit a record low in April. On the global stage, there are worries Iran has exposed American weaknesses, squeezing us and the world with its chokehold over the Strait of Hormuz, opening the door for China to try to tighten the grip. We just talked about China cashing in on the surge in demand for electric vehicles last week. Well, they also have an advantage on rare earth minerals, restricting their exports, banning foreign AI chips and U.S. and Israeli cybersecurity software, along with limiting the export of solar manufacturing equipment to the U.S. Each or all together could theoretically give China leverage if tensions rise between us and them again. It is a delicate moment. The U.S. has been a global superpower for decades, built on military strength, strong alliances, economic power, and influence. Today, we are draining military resources in a war that has no end in sight, straining relationships with our allies, potentially ceding economic ground to one of our biggest adversaries, and further damaging our reputation as a force for good. As the midterms come, the question is, will Americans be able to turn away from all of this, or are these realities too apparent and too visceral to escape?